Hey, hello once again, everybody. Scott Gady on Golf. We're doing another YouTube podcast. Charlie's joining me here for episode number 2. Mr. Charlie, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Wonderful. We're in the fortnight of, you hear that term used a lot around Wimbledon with 2 weeks of Wimbledon, but we're in a pretty good fortnight of golf right now. Scottish Open is wrapping up as we speak, and the British Open's coming up next week. You don't have the Scottish Open shit pulled up by chance, do you? Do you have the leaderboard pulled up?
I do have the
It should
leaderboard
be
pulled
getting
up.
close to finish.
Yeah, they
What's
wrapped
going
up, it
on?
looks like an hour ago. Tom Kim ended up
Oh, they did.
winning. Yeah,
Who
Tom
won?
Kim went. It looks like Tom Kim won.
Oh, God.
Minwoo
Okay.
second place. Robert
Who came in
McIntyre
second?
third place. Minwoo Lee.
Okay.
Is this
All
correct
right.
though? Because let's see.
Where'd Rory finish?
I think he finished top 10.
What was the winning score? How many under?
Final score wrapped up at 17 under. Does that sound right?
17. Okay. Yeah, I know they had to finish the third round, then finish out. You know, it's interesting. Tom Kim played well at the U.S. Open a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
You know, hadn't done shit before that. And it's just, that's what's funny about golf. Like, all of a sudden, you get a couple weeks in a row, and it's like his name will probably, I don't know if you've seen any odds for the Open this week, but I mean, I would think his odds have gotten a lot better in the last couple weeks. Probably the same with Minwoo. I think he's been playing a little bit better, and McIntyre hadn't really been doing a ton, but now with a good finish in his home country and the Open Championship coming up, you know, he played good in the U.S. Open last year. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if his odds.
he's been streaky this year, but when he's on, he's usually strings together a few good weeks. McIntyre, that is.
Yeah, it's just that's what's so weird about golf. Like, it is so hard to handicap and pick a tournament because, I mean, unless you're Tiger, you know, you can have a guy that can just light it up one week, and then the next week he might miss the cut. You
Yeah,
know, Scheffler missed the cut this week. Nobody's going to be surprised if he wins next week. Like,
right. He
it's
hasn't
just so different.
missed a cut in 2 years.
I
Nobody would be
know.
surprised if he goes out and wins next week.
He's getting like I'd have to look up. I should be more prepared. He's getting like the number of weeks he's been the number one player in the world is starting to not get near Tiger, but like is starting to become a pretty impressive number. Like I think he might have the second most weeks ever ranked as a number one player, which is crazy to think because it just feels like he's been number one in the world for a year now. But obviously it's been longer than that. But golf's just
And
so hard to handicap because it's just not like baseball, football, anything else, man. It's just like we can talk about who we think's going to win next week. It's almost a waste of time, you know.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
mean, you think you've got some dark horse. You can ride guys a little bit that play well from time to time, or guys are playing
Mhm.
shitty and they're not worth picking. But I guarantee you, there's going to be somebody that's been playing like shit for the last month will be in the top 10 on the leaderboard on Thursday. So.
Absolutely. And then you'll have a guy like
All right, so
Bryson.
Scottish Open. No, I know.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, somebody
You'll
like
have a
him that's
guy
been
like
playing like
Bryson
shit and missed the
go
cut in the
crazy.
U.S.
Yeah.
Open. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't be. You're not going to be surprised if he's in, but it's a cool 2 weeks because Scottish Open and British Open or Open Championship are just it's golf we don't see week in and week out. Like golf
Mhm.
courses here in the U.S. It's just target golf. It's point A to point B, and that's cool. And obviously, there's a lot of great courses like that. But I mean, what's cool about these couple tournaments and links golf is like this is how golf started.
Mhm.
And you know, it's the funny thing is golf really was kind of meant to be played along the ground a little bit more, not as much aerial as we see here in the States. And so you'll
Right.
see a lot of that. I did see one highlight today. I don't know what hole it was on. McIntyre hit a driver off the deck, and I mean, it looked like it was this far off the ground, but it probably rolled 150 yards up on the green. Then he made the
Yeah.
putt for eagle. But like, you'll see a lot of that this week. Especially, I've been hearing that the course is pretty dried out. I saw some video of somebody walking down the fairway yesterday,
Mhm.
Maverick McNeely, somebody just bouncing a ball, almost like a basketball, just bouncing a ball
Just
coming down
hard
the
as a rock.
fairway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, it's hard as a rock. I don't think there's been a lot of rain. I looked at the forecast. It's supposed to be sunny and in the 70s the rest of the week. So
It is supposed to be good weather. Okay.
it's funny, like it'll probably, to the average fan, it'll look like shit on TV. It'll look like a burnout public course,
Well,
but
that's
I
the
mean
thing. And
that's the way links golf.
when you see these tournaments on TV, it looks flat, it looks open. On when you're watching on television, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot to the golf course.
Yeah.
And then you see these guys just battling. Usually it's because of weather, but then these
I,
courses just dry out so
yeah.
quickly too.
Yeah, I mean that's really, this course will be yellow. You won't be able to tell where the fairway ends and the green begins, but like that's the great part about it. And you'll see guys doing that all week, running shot. I
Mm,
mean, you were very young back in the day, but in 2006, when Tiger run at Royal Liverpool, he had a 3 iron off the tee all week and just, he'd probably lace it 200 and get 100 yards of rollout. And just,
right.
there's no point hitting drivers. So, well, to that point, you'll hear that term a lot this week about rollout. You hear it a
Mhm.
little bit at the US Open, but a lot of times in a yardage book, these guys get a line, the hole's dog leg and they might want to cut it off, the right side of some bunker. And that's your line. If you fly it, it's going to kind of land. It might roll out a little bit, but the rollout from where the ball lands to where it stops rolling becomes a really big part of links golf. And obviously they're going to be there practicing all week, so they'll have a sense of it, but their lines will be a lot different because you're probably not going to be flying the ball as long in the air and having the
Right.
ball roll out a little bit more. But then that brings a lot of luck and good luck and bad luck into it. And some people don't like that, but that's just kind of the way links golf is. So
Right.
it's really cool to watch. It's something different. And you're right, like TV just flattens everything out. And this course in particular, like it's right off the Irish Sea. And it's linksy course, like the holes don't have a ton of elevation, but it's a weird course in that it was carved in between all these sand dunes. So it's probably the best Open Championship to go watch because it's like you can stand up on all these dunes and really get
Yeah.
some good visuals. But you're right; it's going to be it'll be interesting. I think it's great that there's no rain coming in, and if there's any wind, it'll just be a bloodbath. But like that's the cool thing, like the R&A.
Right.
That's like the USGA here in the U.S. The R&A is like the organization that does the rules and stuff pretty much for the rest of the world. And like they don't really do a whole lot to set these courses up because weather becomes such a different part of the ball game over there.
Which,
But
which is
it'll
so which is so different than like a US Open. It seems like that's all the talk leading into a US Open is what are they doing to the course just
yeah, you're right.
so scores don't get out of hand, so scores stay bunched together. But that is
Yeah,
true. It seems like when they're going out playing these links courses, it's just letting the course and the weather do the
yeah,
work.
yeah. It's funny you say that because like all the preview and lead up, you're right. At some point, they'll talk to the superintendent at the court, at a U.S. Open, or they'll
At
talk
a
to the
US Open, right.
USPS. I don't think you'll see the superintendent from Royal Birkdale this
Right,
week because
right, right.
they just kind of set it up. I mean, and it's really like it is the one event of the year. I can't remember what the cut is. I can't remember if it's like top 60 in ties or if it's everybody within 10 shots of the lead, but like this is one event where you can just barely make the cut. And you could be on the right side of the draw on Saturday. You could play Saturday morning and get no weather and shoot
Mhm.
a couple under and get back to maybe 2 or 3 over. And then it could just be a bloodbath in the afternoon with wind and rain. And I mean, all
Absolutely.
of a sudden the crowd's really bunched coming into Sunday. So making the cut is a big deal because you've got a chance to win. So it'll be I haven't been to one. I need to start going to these things, but it's my
I would
favorite one to
absolutely,
watch.
I would absolutely love to go to an Open someday.
Yeah, I mean it'd be and I get it. Like everybody, the Masters has a great look to it, but the Masters is almost like Disneyland. Like it's almost a fake golf course, and
Mhm.
it's just they can the way they can manipulate that course and suck water right back out of it. I mean, you can manufacture a lot there, but here weather's such a big part of the game. There's just so much. like it's an exhausting week, I think, for players and caddies because there's just day to day. There could be, I mean, weather could be just whatever and everything's
Yeah.
fine. But I mean, day to
Mhm.
day, wind can change. There can be rain. I mean, it's just there's so much information you got to take in, and the shots you got to hit are so different. It's just not your regular weekend, week out tour event stop. So it'll be an interesting, I think, too, like whoever wins. It's just kind of been a weird year. Like McIlroy won the Masters, so we got off to a good start. And then Aaron Rai won the PGA, which, I mean, Aaron Rai's a really good player, and he's an
Yeah.
accomplished player. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know who the hell he was, but it's kind of like, well, okay, he's not like the most marketable name. And then Wyndham Clark, for whatever reason, everybody couldn't stand him at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's now got two majors. That's becoming a short list. So to kind of see how the year stacks up when you look back on it, it'll kind of be interesting. I think it's still way up in the air as far as who's going to be player of the year too. So there's a lot
Another
on the
top
line this week.
tie for 13th for Wyndham this week too. So I mean,
Yeah,
he's been awesome all year.
he was playing really well going into U.S. Open. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's weird. You look sometimes. There's just been guys at the Open that have just come out of left field and won
Mhm.
that you might not even think are Great Lakes players. So I mean, it's really like
It's a crapshoot.
there's 156 guys in the field. You can probably take some qualifiers and other shit out, but I mean, there's literally probably 120 guys that could win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. But so one thing one last note I want to add about the Open. So we'll talk about it on the next video that we do. I'm going to be doing a couple things on Instagram each night. I'll be talking about the course, whatever, and then we'll just kind of watch everything unfold over the weekend. But one cool thing that they're doing, and I'll be curious to see if the USGA starts doing this at the U.S. Open. So the Open's got a qualifying process like the U.S. Open does here. There's kind of local qualifying, sectional qualifying. It's under different names there, but I don't know how they determine it. But what they're doing is there's 12 guys that have come out of qualifying, and they're actually playing for the last spot in the tournament at
No
Royal Birkdale
kidding.
on Monday. So
No
it's 18
kidding.
holes just straight up, whoever's low ball. And so, like, that's a cool way. I don't know how they're going to do it with other guys practicing. I think they're probably going to send these 12 guys off first and let them get out and play the
Right.
course, and then they'll let practice start behind them. But it's kind of a cool deal for,
So
spectators that go on Monday. And sometimes you can go to a practice round, you don't see a lot. But you can kind of there's a couple recognizable names in here, so it's kind of allows people that go early in the week, you can kind of see some real play taking
yeah,
place. I think I
absolutely.
looked at the list. I think there's two or three amateurs, maybe three or four guys that made it in. So obviously that's a really cool stage for them. I don't know if that's being shown anywhere on TV on Monday or if it's just on like the Open
I'll look into
website
that because
online.
that's new to me. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome. You
Yeah,
said
this
it's
is
12 guys, one spot.
yeah, it's the first year they're
Just
doing
low
it.
ball.
I don't know how they figured out who the 12 were and how they
Yeah.
pulled them out of qualifying, but I think it's a cool little twist. Like, I think that'd be cool to see that at the U.S. Open too, because, granted the course can change in a lot of, but that's the big thing at these majors. The first couple of days, how's the course going to play? And if you have 12 guys going out playing it under tournament conditions to qualify, like you're going to get a sense a little earlier in the week about how it might play. So I don't know. I
Right.
think it'd be a cool little wrinkle. I'd like to see the USGA do that, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll
That's
see.
very cool.
So
Yep.
okay. Anything else on the Open? That's about all I got for this week. So
Yeah, no, you had briefly touched on it for a sec about guys just needing to hit different shots. I was curious if you foresee huge drastic changes for like what guys are carrying in the bag this
I
week
don't
in
know. I
terms of
mean,
clubs, or is it just maybe another wedge here and maybe a
it's pro. I
something
think
a driving iron of
I
some
think
sort?
it's very similar to Augusta in that. So what a lot of people don't know, I don't have a club sitting around, but like all wedges are not the same. They've
Mm,
got different lies, different bounce, different angles, and a lot of times too, what these guys will do is grind their wedges down a different way and get a different grind on a wedge. And so when you've got conditions as tight as this will be around the greens, and it's similar to Augusta, I bet guys are really screwing around with the bottom end clubs in their bag.
Mhm.
Whether it's the degree of what something's in, but probably the bounce or the grind that they're doing. And everybody's a little different. There's a million
Right.
different grinds. If you went on
Right.
Titleist's website, you might think, well, I'll just go into whatever Golf Galaxy and buy a wedge. But when you go on the Titleist website, I mean, there's a million different wedge
Yeah.
setups you can get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody's different depending on how they want to attack the ball around the green. But I think you'll
Yeah.
see guys really mess around with wedges, pitching wedge through, kind of lob wedge, whatever. And
Mhm.
then you might see guys carrying maybe like a driving iron. If they might normally have like, I don't know, a 4 wood or a utility or something like that, they might take that out of the bag and put like a driving iron in,
Yeah.
2 or 3 iron, something like that. Probably, I would think maybe like maybe 3 wood. Nobody's going to take driver out of the bag. Maybe 3 wood comes out of the bag because you don't maybe really need it. I would think guys might leave hybrids in the bag because it looks like the fairway runs out into a little bit of rough, and then it looks like it's deep after that, but it's real kind of wispy. So like
Yeah.
you can get good lies in a lot of
It's
that stuff, and
flimsy.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
maybe like a hybrid might be something decent to get out of that stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think definitely guys are messing around with the lower end clubs on their bag, different wedges and stuff to handle all the different kind of shots they'll
Yeah.
have around the
Yeah.
green this week. So anyway, all right, so that's it on the Open. What else is going on? We're getting to be like I mean, game wise, we're a little past the halfway point on baseball, but All-Star games coming up this week. What's
Yeah.
any
Coming up
thoughts in
on
the
the
world of baseball as we're at the halfway point?
coming up on the All-Star break here. Speaking of
Wait, I got to ask you
MVP,
first.
yes.
What about the bullshit comment that Kirk Herbstreit said about the Reds? Did you see that?
So I think I only saw like one snippet. I didn't really fully understand what was going on. Can you fill me in a little bit on it?
Basically, he just said the Reds suck, as they always
Mhm.
do, and their season basically goes from the middle of March to May 1st, and then they're out of it. And so he was which there's a lot of truth to that. Like, I'm
Yes.
just surprised.
Yeah. It
I'm
is.
just surprised that a former athlete just rips on another team like that because I don't know I can't remember where he played
y-
his pro ball, but I'm like,
So yeah, so he
where
was
did he?
Ohio State. He was just Ohio State, and then I don't know if he ever wound up getting drafted. I can't
Did he
remember.
play pro? Well, okay. Look, even when he was at Ohio State, if people said Ohio State sucks, like
Yeah. No,
he would have
he's
lost
very
his
not.
mind if people
Yeah,
said that to him. But
he's very non-biased when it comes to college football, or at least he
yeah,
tries to be. But and then he's very open and honest that he is a diehard Cincinnati Reds fan. So he tweets just
uh,
like any of us do, which I
yeah,
kind of respect it in one way, and another way, it's like, oof.
yeah,
I mean, you're
yeah,
probably turning a lot of angry fans,
probably. But
but
I was just
deservedly
surprised to
so.
see that. I mean, it's been disappointing. They certainly haven't gotten off to, that's the
Mhm.
thing. I don't know. They're probably 7 or 8 games under 500. Like 2 or 3 games just here and there. If you were right at 500, you'd be, I think, in the
What
National League, maybe 4 or 5 games out of the wild. Like you'd have a chance, but
you'd
just
be a couple games out of the wild card if you're
yeah.
500 right now,
So it's
but
just I don't
instead
know.
you're 8 games back and 15 games back in your own division at
Yeah,
the halfway
you
point,
gotta
and this was supposed to be their year to
you got a
be
bunch of teams in front of
playoffs,
you. That's
and yeah,
the problem.
yeah.
So I don't
And
know, but
when you look at those other teams in the NL, it's like that are right around that wild card race. It's like I don't think you can clearly say the Reds are better than any of those teams
no,
confidently.
no, but yeah, I don't know if they're worse either. Like
Right,
they just
exactly. Yeah,
they just
but
haven't
that
had they haven't had a chance. They haven't had a spot where they've ripped off an 8-2 run or 9-1. Like
mhm.
and
But then you
and
have teams like the Cubs who have gone on 10
Yeah,
game win streaks, multiple
yeah,
10-game losing streaks. It's just
yeah.
a crazy year of baseball.
I mean, I think that whatever it's the Brew. I mean, obviously the Dodgers, Brewers, um, Cubs, Phillies, probably. I mean, I don't think all those. I don't think those teams are really going anywhere. And I.
Yeah, man. It's like when I was growing up, it was always no matter what, the Cardinals and the Steelers were always going to be good. Now it's always
Yeah.
the Brewers are the new Cardinals. They're just good
Yeah,
every
but the
year.
Cardinals used to do good in the
Solid.
playoffs. The
Yeah,
Brewers
that
never
is true.
really
They would.
did.
The Brewers don't win in the playoffs. That is
I just
fair.
keep looking at the standings, figuring out who the Brewers are going to lose to in the playoffs. But I don't know. I
That is,
mean,
yeah, as a sad
I think
Reds fan,
there's
that is the one
I
thing
think
I
there's
cheer for.
some good stories going on this year. Tampa Bay is really good, and they keep playing well. The White Sox have. I mean, shit. Last year, I think they lost. I don't know, close to 100 games. They've already won 50 games this year.
And
Uh,
that's the thing that as a Reds fan, it's hard for me to take another rebuild where we're supposed to be at the point of winning games in the
yeah,
playoffs and they're 7 games back heading into the All-Star
yeah,
break when you have the
yeah.
teams like the White Sox who flip the script.
I know. I don't. And the Reds have a decent team. They're still
They do.
little. They lack a
And
little bit in power, but I don't know.
it's just like
Maybe they'll
there's some
figure it
sort
out.
of pop there that just is lacking.
Yeah, I
Injuries, but
don't.
then they don't do anything in the offseason to supplement injuries happening during the season.
And I don't. I don't. I mean, I follow baseball really close, but not close enough to know. But it just seems like the Reds. I still think they can be a dangerous team in a short playoff series, but it just their pitchers get hurt all the. It just feels like their pitchers get hurt more than anybody else. But I don't really know if that's true. I mean,
Well,
when you just
no, it absolutely is. They have four of the top probably 20 pitching prospects
yeah,
under 25, right, 26 right now in baseball, and three of them have gotten hurt already
yeah,
this year. So, I
yeah,
mean, at some point, it's like, what can you do? And then who is
uh,
supposed to be your leadoff hitter is batting 130 all year.
yeah, yeah,
Suarez isn't giving you the power you thought he was going to give. It's, but then you look across to the Phillies where Schwarber is a
I
top
know,
all-star candidate and you didn't want to give him another whatever it is 10 million a year.
yeah,
It's like at some point just open up the bank on a guy like that and just hope for the
yeah.
best.
And I mean, it's kind of hard. Like you
It's
look around, like Miami's playing well, Washington's playing well, the Cardinals are playing well. Like other similar market, I mean, the Brewers, I think, are the smallest market in baseball. I mean, and so there's other small market teams that are playing well. It's not like the Mets, Dodgers, and whatever, or just and the Red Sox and whoever are
right.
running the table. A lot of those teams are playing like shit. So people
Which
always say,
which
like,
is the beauty of baseball, like how the
yeah,
Mets are just they're in the same boat as the Reds this year, and it's two completely different structures of payrolls
I
and
know.
team builds, and they're in the same exact spot.
I mean, but I hear people say that a lot about, oh, baseball's got to get. I mean, and they do got to get this figured out. I think the labor situation at the end of the year could get really ugly. But like the Dodgers only won 10 more games than the Reds last year. I mean, it's not like
Right,
these teams go out and win 120 games and everybody else wins 80 games. Like,
right.
don't, I mean, granted, you get in the playoffs, shit gets a little different, home field advantage, whatever. But I mean, we've seen in most sports now, if you just get in the playoffs, I'm not sure how much home field advantage means now as it used to be. So I think there's plenty of room for mid market teams. I mean, right now, if the Brewers won the World Series, I don't think we'd be shocked.
No,
You know, I mean, if Marlins, National, I mean, there's some teams that could make the playoffs now. Are they going to make a run and win the World Series? But at least these mid-market teams can not easily, but they can get in the playoffs. So it's not
right.
like this is an impossible task. So
And maybe not the smallest markets, but what, just a few years ago, you have Arizona Diamondbacks versus
yeah,
what the
yeah.
Rangers in the
And
World
that
Series. So,
year,
I mean, Rangers big
yeah,
market, but it's not your who you're seeing in your World Series every year by any means.
and
And it
that
was an
the other thing
unbelievable World
too
Series.
about,
So,
and they only won two more games than the rest that year.
right,
They were a
right.
wild
Like
card team
there's
and got in and ended up.
Yeah,
It's like,
there's
come
no
on, man.
excuses. It's just like some point you got to make a splash, and I don't know, a little bit of luck.
Um, all right, so we're like the baseball All Star game is the one All Star game I've always kind of tuned into. Do you give a shit about it? Will you watch a little bit of it?
So I
Yeah,
always do tune in to the home run derby and at first few innings of the All Star
yeah,
game, tune back in at the end usually.
yeah,
What brought me back around is
yeah,
when it was in Cincinnati in 2015.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
awesome. And
That
then
was cool.
seeing
That was one
seeing
of the
the
best
home
home run derbies too.
yeah, sitting in the outfield and seeing like the
Yeah,
launch of the baseballs, it's truly a spectacle. And I think what they
yeah.
did, I'm still indecisive about the new home run derby rule because there's something about watching
I
them
can't.
just
Hey, bump
get
your
the
phone
10
down.
outs. Oh yeah, sorry. I
Bump your
bumped
phone,
my
losing your pretty face. I
yeah.
can't. Yeah, I lose track of the. It's like they have different rules every year. I
S-
can't keep
So
track of it.
they do timed rounds now as opposed to
Okay.
just getting 10 outs because the
Yeah,
because it would just go on
take
for
forever.
hours.
Yeah. Well,
But it's good.
so we got All Star game this week, and
Yeah.
then golf's going to start wrapping up. It's a little weird now at the Opens, the last major of the year. We'll get in. They'll have there's some interesting shit to follow, but then when we're in the playoffs, that'll wrap up by Labor Day at least, then President's Cup. So we got to find something else to talk about as we get later
Yeah.
in the year. What's you're into football more than I am. What's kind of the buzz? Give me like a 30,000 foot view on NFL and college right now. What's it looking like? Favorites? I've been hearing a lot of chatter about the Bengals, but what's the favorites look like? NFC, AFC as we get near football.
So NFL, we're kind of looking. If I recall correctly, it's pretty similar to what you saw in the playoffs last year.
Okay.
Plus, Bengals kind of coming up a little bit after their free agency odds wise. But you're going to see Seahawks, Rams, 49ers,
Yeah.
Eagles still at the top in the NFC.
One team that'll be interesting to watch this year will be the Giants, with having Harbaugh as their coach now. You
And,
know,
and, and you usually see that with the Harbaugh,
yeah,
either Harbaugh coach, the team
yeah,
usually gets better at least
yeah,
in that first year.
and that's kind
While they,
of Cowboys, Giants, Redskins. That's kind of a shitty bottom part of that division. Yeah, I mean, if it's funny now too, I can't. I can't find it in myself to really watch ESPN anymore, but anytime I'm at the gym or so, like you see ESPN on everywhere. And
mm,
and probably about mid-July, it's like I think all they talk about are the Cowboys. Every time I
oh,
see
it's a
some
yeah,
like something
yeah.
scrolling on ESPN, it's some shit about the Cowboys. But I don't know if they're going to be worth the shit this year or not. But uh, I think if the Bills don't find a way to get deep in the playoffs or win the
So
Super Bowl this
this
year, like I don't know what you do, man. Like
my
the
yeah
window can only stay open for so long.
my thing with the Bills, it's like yeah they had injuries around the team, but Josh Allen was still standing on 2 feet, and they couldn't get it done with no
Yeah,
Mahomes, no Burrow in the playoffs this year. Not even they couldn't win the AFC
yeah, they
Championship. So it's just there's
yeah.
something there, but they're going to be really good
I don't know.
again. And
They got to
Josh
figure it
Allen's
out
top
quick. 'Cause
four player in football.
yeah, yeah. What about
But yeah,
college? What's any preseason rankings come out yet? What's going on there?
yeah. So you have Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, your top four ish. I don't know if that's what it's like in the actual rankings, but odds wise, they're the odds on
Yeah,
favorites.
it's funny
Texas,
now. What's so different about college football versus when I was younger, and you probably remember this not too long ago. Like now with the playoffs, like you can lose one or two, maybe pretty soon even three games. Like years ago, it
yeah,
used to be like if you lost one game,
lost
you were
one game.
right on the edge. If you lost two games, you had no chance of winning the national
Yeah,
championship.
yeah. That's why kind of like
So it's kind of
looking at teams like Notre Dame to bet the playoffs because they have an easy season
yeah,
regular season schedule. You think after last year, maybe if they have one hiccup during the season, that
yeah.
committee lets them in this year. You never know. Then Ohio State, obviously the most talented team probably
Yeah.
in college football, but their concern this year is depth. But
How can
obviously,
that happen at a
everyone,
place?
eh, it's
How does
because,
that
well,
happen at a school like at a place like that? These
and
these
that's
top
that's
programs.
just that's just what you hear right now is
Yeah,
that Ohio State's concern is depth. I'm sure their depth is just
yeah,
fine when you compare
I
it across
know.
the board.
Right.
It's probably just not what Ohio
Yeah,
State is used to.
yeah.
But I think
Well, that's probably that's probably
with
the
the
yeah,
transfer portal though, these guys sit for a year and they want to
yeah,
go play, and you
yeah,
can't blame them. They go play somewhere else.
yeah,
So
yeah. I get
you see
that.
that the talent is spread out. Okay,
Yeah,
and
I think it'll
I
be.
noticed it most in college basketball this past year that the March Madness tournament was, in my opinion, very much more skilled than it had been in the last few years,
I would
where
say
you
that.
have where you had in the past probably two or three really really good teams, and then everyone else kind of good.
Yeah,
Where last year I think you saw closer to like seven or eight really
that's
really
true.
good teams, and then another four to five teams that were very good as well.
Yeah,
So
it's just that the landscape of college
yeah,
sports is just so fucking different now than it's
it's
been
the
for years. So,
it's the
but
Wild
anyway.
West, but
All right. Okay, well,
yeah,
we'll do this again in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, as
absolutely.
we get deeper in the summer, we'll start chatting some more stuff up as golf comes to a close. But
Sounds like
let's
a
catch
plan.
up in the next week or so once the Open Championships done, and we'll get recapped on that. And then probably at that point, we will be like on the verge of football and some other stuff, college
Yep.
and pro, getting ready to fire up. So,
Yep.
all right, watch a bunch of golf
Yep.
this week, and I'll talk to you when I'm back,
Yep. Sounds like a plan. Have a good trip.
brother. See ya.
See ya.